people rally together as the Tea Party movement returns to its roots. A large crowd gathered on Boston Common this morning near the site of the original Boston Tea Party for an event headlined by former vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin. Eyewitness News reporter Erin Kennedy joins us now with more on today's rally.
Palin's 22-minute speech highlighted the 3-hour event, which drew a larger-than-expected crowd in the highly liberal state. An estimated 5,000 people turned out to hear the former Alaska governor deliver an anti-tax message on the day before Tax Day. In her speech, Sarah Palin criticized many of the current Obama administration policies, such as health care reform, saying they will only create more debt for future generations.
No, now it's our government deciding how much money the people can have, and that's backwards, and we're going to turn that around. It is time to remind them that government should be working for us. We should not have to work for the government.
The Tea Party movement will be holding rallies all over the country tomorrow, including at the Rhode Island State House.
We all know about the Tea Party and how they have taken on the establishment. They want to replace the establishment with people who are more committed to American values. Well, now there is an organization called Patriot Majority that's launched a campaign to stop the Tea Party candidates from getting elected to office in this year's midterm elections. Well, what do they plan to do, and how is the Tea Party reacting to all of this? To discuss this, with us here today, Patriot Majority President Craig Varoka. He's in Houston, and Tea Party Patriots National Coordinator Debbie Dooley, who is in Atlanta. And Debbie, I want to start with you because I want to get your thoughts on this mess that the Republican National Committee finds itself in. Where does the Tea Party come down on all of that?
We are nonpartisan despite attempts to portray us as arm of the Republican Party. That is absolutely not true. We would hope that both parties will be fiscal responsible in their spending. That's something we're not going to get involved in because our focus is on fiscal responsibility, limited government, and free markets. The parties can have inter-party squabbles all they want to. It will not distract us from our goals.
All right. Well, Craig, let me ask you, your organization seems to have been formed as a result of the Tea Party coming along. What's wrong with the Tea Party and what they're talking about?
Well, let me say a couple of things. Patriot Majority was formed in order to keep America strong, and we believe America is strong if we take care of creating jobs, if we have strong schools, if we have affordable health care, but also if we have strong national security. The reason why we're opposing Tea Party candidates is because, one, the Tea Party, despite what Debbie just said, is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Republican Party. Sarah Palin is the leader of it. Sarah Palin had a rally in Nevada this past week. We all know that. Any attempts to distance themselves from that is not going to be successful, and frankly, it's not factual. The second thing is that at the rallies that have been sponsored by the Tea Parties, we basically have seen people harassing members of Congress simply because they supported the health care bill. We've also seen the Tea Party, basically put together a target list that resulted in intimidation of Democratic lawmakers all across the country simply because of how they had voted on health care. We think it's time to draw a line in the sand. We think it's time to say no more harassment, no more violence, and we think it's time that we actually work together rather than calling names to each other, so that we can actually address the significant problems we face.
All
now,
right.
in terms of the
let's give Debbie a chance to respond here.
Yes,
Debbie.
please. His statement that the Tea Party is a subsidiary of the Republican Party is outright lie. That is not true.
That is not a lie. Sarah Palin is the one
that
that
is a lie. Sarah Palin is
respond.
not our leader.
Okay.
Now, sir, will you please have a little bit of manners and let me respond to your lies? Sarah Palin is not our leader.
If you say the lies,
Craig,
I intend to object to that.
Please, we're going to have to let her again. Let's give her a chance, and then you can come back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Tea Party Express is totally different from Tea Party Patriots. We have members that are independents, conservative Democrats. We even have labor union members of our party, and we do have conservatives. We have never, as Sarah Palin to speak at any of the Tea Party Patriot events. That is totally wrong. I have actually here in Georgia led protest against all Republican county commission. I have led protest against our Republican governor. We actually, New York 23, everyone rebelled against the Republican establishment candidate and supported the Conservative Party candidate. It is a tactic of the left. If you cannot discredit the message, you try to discredit the messenger. And I can tell you, according to Rasmussen reports, a poll that came out Sunday, 62% of mainstream Americans agree with the Tea Party movement versus 12% that don't. A week ago, a poll was taken about health care. 62% of Americans think that we should repeal the health care bill. So don't sit there and tell me that we're part of the Republican Party. You are not going to get away with discrediting our message because you don't like what our message is.
Well, may I just interject something? Excuse me, but has not Sarah Palin spoken at some of your events, Debbie?
No, that is absolutely not true. Tea Party Express is a totally different entity than Tea Party Patriots. There are different groups out there. In fact, Tea Party Patriots, probably in October, sent out a press release letting everyone know that we were not associated with Tea Party Express in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So you cannot paint the Tea Party movement with a broad brush because of the actions of Tea Party Express.
All right, Craig, now you may respond.
Okay. Well, I mean, the fact that somebody could go on national TV and say that Sarah Palin is not the most prominent member of the Tea Party movement is ludicrous. And I think what you just saw is that when somebody disagrees with some members of the Tea Party movement, what they start doing is that they start using words like socialist and liar. And the reason why we have formed Patriot Majority and the reason why we want to bring back a civil dialogue to this country is that that kind of divisive attitude is preventing us from solving the real problems that we confront. A majority of people in this country want real progress on creating jobs. They want strong schools. They want affordable health care, and they want strong national security. And the kind of name-calling that you just saw from your other guest right now is frankly counterproductive. But I just find it absolutely ludicrous that someone would go on national TV after Sarah Palin is touring the country on behalf of the Tea Party movement and try to distance herself from that. The other thing, and if you go back to the original segment that you just had with Michael Steele has been working as closely with the Tea Party movement as anybody has across the country. And that's the reality of the Tea Party movement, for all intents and purposes right now, is the presidential campaign for 2012 of Sarah Palin. And it's unfortunate that that the other guest would make a ludicrous claim that Sarah Palin was somehow not part of the movement.
Well, it sounds I
find that unbelievable.
It sounds like what she is saying that there's been a division within the Tea Party movement, and it's now divided. Is that correct, Debbie? Well, let's let her answer.
The Tea Party movement. Please let me answer to your other guest with Patriot Majority. It is not a ludicrous claim. There is no division within the Tea Party movement, but we do distance ourselves. Tea Party Patriot has remained distant from the Republican Party. I'll tell you, why don't you ask the Republican governor here in Georgia what he thinks of me? Because he has a very unfavorable opinion of me. Okay? The Tea Party movement is like a spider. We are made up of different legs. And there are tens of thousands of leaders throughout the United States, not Sarah Palin. We consider someone that picks up and answers our action alert to please contact your congressman, their leader. There's a website called IamTheTeaPartyLeader.com. Go to that website. You will see thousands of Tea Party leaders throughout the United States.
Debbie, let me ask you this. What do you think of Sarah Palin?
Sarah Palin, I have a lot of respect for her, but would I vote for her for president?
Exactly.
That is something I'm not sure of. That is something I am not sure of. My criteria is for someone to have fiscal responsibility, limited government, free markets. I can tell you that a lot of people within our organization, it's mixed feelings about Sarah Palin. Some like her, some don't. I've received a lot of angry emails from our activists about her speaking at the Tea Party Express event in Nevada, and I've made it clear that is not our organization. Okay. We have tens of thousands of leaders. We don't just have one leader.
All right, one final remark from Craig.
Could I just add one thing?
Yeah.
We understand that people are angry because of the conditions that the country are in. We understand that a lot of people are suffering economically. And actually, there are some efforts in place in the national government to address those things and at the state level. The problem that we have is that when it crosses the line into harassment and violence, and the problem that we have is that when Sarah Palin is leading this effort, that people conveniently try to disassociate themselves from it. And I think that what we're going to see this year is that, one, we're going to hold the Tea Party movement in its entirety, beginning with Sarah Palin and others, to keeping the record straight and telling the truth and being factual about it. And the second thing is that we are going to urge all the people who support Patriot Majority and all Americans to participate with us in putting a list together of, one, candidates to support, but two, dangerous candidates to oppose because their ideas actually make America weaker.
All right. Well, I'm sorry, but our time...
Okay, can I please...
All right, one short response.
I would like to... Okay. I think as far as harassment
this could
of
go
Congress...
on all day.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Well, excuse me, would you be quiet and let me respond, please? Have courtesy. I mean, weren't you brought up to have courtesy?
Please.
You have the floor.
Okay, number one, Freedom Works on 9/11 last year received a bomb threat at their office. You saw very little press coverage about that. See this folder? It's full of email threats that I received. When I was at the 9/12 March on D.C. on September 11th, I was going to a rally. We had an Obama supporter that was screaming and yelling at us. She would not let us pass. I instructed her that we would, we're here peaceful and we would call the police. She spit food on me.
All right. Well,
she spit food on me twice.
All right.
So don't come with me and talk about the angry right. You need to do something about your people on the angry left.
Folks, I want to thank both of you for being here. We have simply run out of time.